Okay, hello go-getters. I just hope you are doing good. So in this video, I just want to show you how to simplify these kind of questions whereby you got two fractions are being separated by plus. Oh, sorry. If you got two fractions are being separated by multiply or by divide. Yeah. So in order for you guys to solve this kind of question, you must be able to factorize. Yeah, you must be good when it comes to factorize. Because here you must factorize this and factorize that and factorize that and factorize that. Do you understand? So let me remind you guys how to factorize if you don't know. Let's say you've got this thing. So to factorize here, you look a bigger number that you can divide there and there. Do you understand? As your common factor, you will find out the bigger number there is equal to 4. Okay, it's equal to 4. Yeah, so you divide by it both and you take it as your common factor. Do you see this thing? Yeah, you look a bigger number that you can divide it on 4 and 8. So a bigger number, it's 4, because 4 can be divided on 4 and 4 can be divided on 8. So if you divide this thing, it will just be y, then here it's plus 2. Do you see? So this thing, you just factorize it by looking at a common factor, which is 4. Then let's look for a common factor here. So we look a bigger number that we can divide it here and there, which is 7 there. Ish, my pens. Yeah. So it's 7. You take it as your common factor. If you divide it here, I think you will get 3. Ne? Yeah, you will get 3 and minus y. You see this thing? Yeah. So also this one, I just factorize it by looking at common factor. All the time, guys, when you factorize, all the time you should first look for a common factor. Then you can go and look different of two squares, sum of cubes, trinomials, and drop in. Do you understand? But first of all, look for a common factor. Do you see? Then if I can check a common factor here, it will be 5, a number that I can divide it there and there. So this one is my common factor. If I divide it will give me 3y. If I divide it will give me minus 1. Do you see? Then if I factorize this one, I will look a common factor, a bigger number that you can divide on 10 and 5. It is 5. Then this one is your common factor. If you divide it will be 2 plus y. Do you see this thing? Yeah. Because here, same thing, they cancel, I will left in with y. Even here they will cancel there, I will left with invisible 1, which is 1 there. Do you understand? Even there, it cancel, left with invisible 1, which is 1 there. Yeah. Guys, do not forget that invisible 1. Yeah. So, do you see the way I factorize these things? So now I approach this question by applying all these things that I factorize them, I can just substitute now and say multiply. If I factorize this thing, I'll take 4 as my common factor, it will be y plus 2. If I factorize that, I take 7 as a common factor, it will be y, it's 3, y minus 1. Then here common factor is 5 to 3y minus 1. Common factor is 5, which is 2 plus y. So, if guys you know how to factorize, no need for you to do this thing aside. Do you understand? You can just approach it as like this. You can approach it as like that. No need for you to write this thing aside. Do you understand? You only do this thing if you are still learning how to factorize this. Do you understand? Yeah, even here I was just reminding you guys how to factorize. So to factorize now let's simplify this fraction. So we are aware that if we multiply fraction, numerator will multiply to a numerator. And denominator as well will multiply to what? To a denominator there. Do you see this thing? So this, if it multiply there, it will just give me 20. Or before I multiply, guys, let me show you something. Do you notice that these will cancel? They will cancel those ones. Meaning now, here I'll be left with what? I'll left with 4y plus 2 and 3y minus 1. And here it will be 7y, and up it's 2 plus y. Do you see this thing? So this will cancel with that one because they are the same. Do you understand? Even this one, they are the same. Y it's positive, 2 it's positive, 2 it's positive. So I can cancel this one. Meaning now my final answer here will be 4/7. Do you see, guys? Yeah. So for this one, guys, you can even do it aside, factorize this thing aside, but I can approach it like this because it is just a waste of time to do it aside. Do you understand? If you don't know how to factorize, try to watch those videos. Yeah, the one that I just posted. So to simplify this thing, we factorize by taking a common factor. If it divided by our common factor, we're left with a. If it divided, left with 2. Remember, common factor, we take a bigger number that we can divide it there and there, which is 2. So for this one, there is no common factor there. There is no common factor here. It's a 2. There is not even a number. There is not even a base there. Do you see? Even here, there is not a number. There is no base. You can write it the way it is. So here we look at a bigger number that we can divide it here. We can divide it here and there, which is 4. Then if you divide it, it will be a. If you divide it, it's plus 2. Do you see this thing? Yeah. So if you are someone who knows actual fractions, do you understand? Here I only say that if we multiply fraction numerator to a numerator, denominator to a denominator. But now if we divide a fraction, what will happen? So if we divide fraction, we just change this thing into multiplication. The moment this thing is changed to multiplication, this one will reciprocate. It will just flip, become like this. Do you see this thing? Yeah. So this thing, the moment I change divide into multiplication, this one will reciprocate. Right hand fraction will reciprocate, guys. Right hand fraction will flip actual. Yeah. So now I know that if I multiply a fraction, a numerator to a numerator, denominator to a denominator, this thing, it will give me what? This and that there. It will just give me 8. And here it's plus 2. And here it's 2 and... Do you see, guys? Yeah. So now what you should understand now is that if we divide a fraction, same thing, they cancel. Same thing, they cancel. So down here, guys, I will be left with invisible one. Do you understand? Meaning now, it's something like this. But in maths, guys, you are not allowed to leave denominator as 1. Do you understand? That one will just disappear, guys. Then it means that now you will be left with 8 as our final answer. Remember, guys, the rules of maths says that if we got 1 here, if we got 1 here, let's say if you got 1 as an exponent or 1 as a denominator or 1 as a coefficient, you leave your answer as only x. Those one will just disappear, guys. You only put those one if you are calculating, or if you are dealing with exponent, or if you are dealing with fraction. Do you understand? So that's why here I just removed that one, because it's unnecessary for me to put it. Do you understand? Yeah. So At the end, guys, I just hope now you did understood this one. You can just take it, you can just take. So check this one, guys, how to approach this question if there is divide or there is multiply between fractions. So here you must be able to factorize completely. You must be perfect, actually. Do you understand? So here we will factorize this thing. So how to factorize this thing? All the time, guys, when you factorize, you look for the what? For a common factor. Do you understand? Yeah. So here we have a common factor. For the numbers, it's 3. A bigger number that you can divide it there and there. It's 3. Do you understand? Then for the base, we take the base that has a small exponent, which is this one. This one, it got invisible one there. It got a small exponent. Do you understand? So now you can say open brackets. So if I take this thing, I divide there, I will only left with x there, because 3 will cancel, and if I divide same base, I'll minus the exponent. It will be 1 there. Do you understand? Yeah. Then here, if I divide this thing and that one, same thing will cancel. Then this and that will give me minus 4. Close bracket. Do you see? Yeah. So now you can just say divide. Yeah. So here we got a common factor, which is 2. A bigger number that you can divide it there and there, it's 2. So if I divide it, it will be x. If I divide it, it will be minus what? 4. Do you see, guys? And the rules for fractions says that if you change a division into multiplication, a right-hand fraction will reciprocate. Now it will flip actually. 5 over 2x1. Then here, so on this side, guys, you can see that if we divide, same thing, these will cancel. They will cancel those ones. And now you know that if you divide this and that one, it will give you what? 1 over 2. Yeah, it's 1 over 2 there, and this one is upwards there. And this one, guys, it's unnecessary for you to put it. Yeah, it's unnecessary. It can even disappear, this one. Check. Do you see that one just disappear? Yeah. So now I know, guys, if I multiply a fractions, numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator. So this is what I will get. And this and that, it's 4x minus 4. And I know, guys, if I divide same thing, I cancel, and I will left with 5 over 4 as my final answer. Do you see? So now let's try this one as our last question. So try to listen carefully, guys, how to approach this question. And remember, you must be able to factorize. You won't simplify this question without knowing how to factorize. Do you understand? So here, let's factorize this thing. We look for a common factor, a bigger number that you can divide it there, and it's 4. Then you take a base that has a small exponent. Is this one a base that has a small exponent? You see, open. If I divide, I will only left with x there, because same thing will cancel. And if I divide same base, I separate the exponent, it will be 1 there. Do you understand? Yeah. So if I divide this one, same thing will cancel, and 8 divided by 4 is just 2. Multiply. So here, guys, a common factor, the bigger number that you can divide it there and there, it's 20. And if you divide it, it will be x. If you divide it there, it will be it will be 2. And do you see, guys, this thing? So this thing, it's twice actual. It's x2, x2. Yeah. So now before I apply the rule, I can see that if I divide same base, I cancel. Yeah. If I divide same thing, I cancel. Do you understand, guys? So now what I will have now, it will be 4x squared and 20 and x what? 2 divided by what? 5x. Yeah, so I know that if I divide same thing, they will cancel. And if you can press this thing on calculator, 20 divided by 5, this thing, it should give you x2, 20, it's 4. And do you see, guys, this thing? And now the final answer here, it will be just 16, 2. Because the number will multiply each other, give us 16. Yeah. So the fraction, how did it disappear? These, they cancel. You see, and now this one, if you press it there, it will be 4. And here I got invisible one there. Do you understand? And that invisible one here, it's unnecessary, guys, to put it. That's why our fraction just disappear with that invisible one. Do you see? Yeah. So this one, guys, will be the final answer of this question. I just hope, guys, you did understand this video. So what you can do, you can take the screenshot of all what I did here, and now you can try this one.